keeping aircon temperatures at 25 degrees Celsius and phasing out bottles in meetings. These are among moves that the government is making to be more sustainable. They aim to keep Singapore's emissions in control, even as it's expected to peak in the next 2 years before heading towards net zero by the year 2045. The measures were revealed in the first sustainability report card on the public sector. And Claudia Lim has this report.
Singapore's GreenGov.SG report on the public sector's carbon footprint reveals mixed results. From April last year to March this year, the public sector emitted 3.7 million tonnes of CO2. That's 5.3% down from 2020. Main reason for the drop, the closure of the Tuas incineration plant in 2022. But emission levels will likely rise before they get lower.
We expect our emissions to peak around 2025 as more activities resume post-pandemic and more new major public infrastructure are opened in the coming years for transport, healthcare and utilities. These are necessary to meet the needs of our population.
The government began collecting sector-wide emissions data in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic. And apart from emissions, the report also tracks energy and water use from public infrastructure such as office buildings, transport system, and healthcare facilities. As economic activities grew post-pandemic, the public sector's electricity use increased by 1.7%. Water usage was also up a notch, rising by 1.2%. But the government expects both electricity and water to trend downwards, with the public sector adopting energy-efficient appliances and greening the transport fleet. The report excludes performance results for waste. The ministry says more time is needed to gather data, as waste disposal isn't metered, unlike electricity and water usage. This is the first step the government is taking to keep the public sector accountable. It also serves as an example for the rest of Singapore to follow, including the private sector in its own green transition. The government has been promoting green procurement within the public sector and building a green culture through community events and schools. Through these, the public sector aims to achieve net zero emissions in 2045, 5 years before the national target in 2050. It's also committed to reducing energy and water usage by 10% and waste disposal per person by 30% by the end of the decade.